to CMU. I am Jennifer McCurry, the university's Program Director of Religious and Spiritual Life. When I was around 10 years old, I received one of the most memorable gifts of my childhood, a machine that would project the night sky on the ceiling of my darkened bedroom. It was old school technology, so the light base had a variety of masks or templates showing the sky from different locations and times of year. But even then, I was aware it was a nerdy gift and I loved it. If it was too cloudy or the light pollution made it hard to see outside, I could still explore the stars and the pictures they formed in our world. For millennia, people have been fascinated by the sky that we share. The stars provided our ancestors with a calendar, marking the seasons of the year, as well as a guide for navigating the sea. They were useful in these practical ways, but they also served as a canvas for culture. The constellations or star pictures described by different societies were a means of sharing important values and wisdom. I grew up hearing about Orion the Hunter, which was front and center in my winter sky in upstate New York. But others look at the same area of stars and see different things. Navajo communities tell of the protection of Etsi Etsusi, the first slender one. And Japanese communities see the honor, bravery, and loyalty of the investigator. We all look at the same sky, but we have many different experiences of it and how it speaks to our lives. Similarly, we all come to this campus from different communities and backgrounds. In theory, it might seem like being here at CMU would mean we would have the same experience. However, you have already begun making distinctive connections among people who you're excited to live, work, and play with. As we develop new friendships and find our way, we are all listening deeply for stories that will carry us into the future in this place. The whole CMU campus is so excited that you are here, for the person you are now, and for the scholar and community leader that you are becoming. Blessings to you as you continue to create your own constellations of support and inspiration, calling, and community.
Thank you, Reverend McCurry. Good afternoon, class of 2030 plus and new transfer students, and welcome to Convocation 2026. My name is Sam Curry, and I'm an information systems major with an additional major in political science, security, and technology. I'm also one of your 9 head orientation counselors for this year. Thank you. It is an honor to welcome you to Carnegie Mellon University alongside university and college leadership, faculty, staff, and members of the CMU community who are absolutely thrilled to celebrate this moment with you. Recently, we introduced our new theme for orientation this year, a Carnegie constellation. This theme actually has multiple meanings, and that was intentional. It highlights how each and every one of you is your own bright, shining star, wholly and uniquely you. With your own passions, skills, goals, and drivers, you are a blazing example of the potential our generation has to shape the future. Even more amazing, however, is when many stars come together to form something even greater than the sum of each of their parts, a constellation. For every star does not exist alone. It is both bound by gravity and the connections that we attribute to them when we stare up at the night sky. And just as stars form a constellation, every single person in our shared community is part of something bigger, the vast interconnected network of students across our campus that makes something deeply beautiful and entirely unique to CMU. Today's convocation ceremony marks the formal beginning of your academic journey at CMU. Over the coming years, you'll do so many things you never thought were possible and learn so much about who you have the potential to be. You are now joining our constellation, expanding on it, and causing it to burn brighter and farther than it ever has before. Today, you'll hear from CMU leaders and faculty who are here to support and inspire you. The first of these speakers is Jim Garrett, Carnegie Mellon's Provost and Chief Academic Officer. Prior to his appointment to this role in 2019, he served as a member of the CMU faculty for over 20 years before becoming Dean of the College of Engineering in 2013. Provost Garrett is a lifelong Tartan, having received his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in civil and environmental engineering from CMU. Among his many recognitions and awards, Provost Garrett was elected to the National Academy of Construction, is a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and is a distinguished member of the American Society of Civil Engineers. Please join me in welcoming Provost Garrett to the podium.
Thank you, Sam, for that very kind introduction. And good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2030 plus. I first want to give a big thank you to Sam and the other head orientation counselors for creating such an engaging experience for our first year students. Let's give these folks a big round of applause. It is my sincere pleasure to join President Jahanian, our deans, and university leadership in welcoming you to Carnegie Mellon University. Each year I get excited for orientation because you can feel the energy. You could feel it coming in as you all joined us in this tent. It's an excitement for a new academic year beginning. I hope you're enjoying the excitement of your first few days here on campus as you begin this new chapter. Of course, at one point or another, we all experience some anxiety or uncertainty about new beginnings. But at this moment, as I consider the multitude of backgrounds and talents in your class, I am confident that each of you has an extremely bright future. As Sam said, I myself received 3 degrees from Carnegie Mellon. I left Pittsburgh for a few years, but eventually came back as a faculty member in 1990 and never left. I had and still have such a deep respect for the unique culture here, for the people, the academic rigor, the collegiality, and for the unlimited research and creative opportunities our students have. Carnegie Mellon has unquestionably influenced my life in many ways that would not have happened at any other university. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And you surely have your own reasons that brought you to Carnegie Mellon. Maybe you were drawn to this campus for our excellent fine arts programs. Or maybe it was the opportunity to learn from the world's most brilliant designers, scientists, engineers, and thought leaders in the humanities, social sciences, policy, and business. The bottom line is that most of you chose CMU precisely for its outstanding academic reputation. You expect us to deliver an exceptional education, and we promise each and every one of you that we will deliver. Every year at Convocation, it is our tradition for the provost, me, to quote our benefactor, Andrew Carnegie, when he established what we now know as Carnegie Mellon University. Our university's story began on November 15th, 1900, when Carnegie wrote to the mayor of Pittsburgh announcing his wish to establish a technical school. He wrote, "If the city of Pittsburgh can furnish a site, I shall be delighted to furnish money for such a school. There are many questions to decide involving investigation, careful study, and much labor. But I am in a position to assure you that my heart is in the work. With that letter, this university began, and the phrase, "My heart is in the work," became our motto. And I'm confident that this phrase will come to resonate in different ways for each of you. In 1905, the inaugural class enrolled 120 students. Most attended part-time in the evenings after work, with more than 90% hailing from Pittsburgh. Now, over a century later, your class looks a little different. This year, over 33,000 students across the world applied to be part of this incoming class. Of those, 12% received letters of acceptance, and ultimately, 1,891 of you enrolled in the class of 2030 plus. Your class hails from 46 states, plus Washington, D.C., Guam, and Puerto Rico, and 36 countries across the globe. And 13% of your classmates are first-generation college students. You are now part of a global community steeped in a tradition of excellence in education, research, creativity, and scholarship. And today, you join our community. And we are a better university because you are here. We're committed to your success, and we will work hard to make sure you have an inclusive, supportive, and excellent experience while you're here. As you start your journey, I encourage you to immerse yourself in the culture and activities CMU has to offer. We have a hands-on approach to learning, and your active participation will lead you to success both in and out of the classroom. Reach out to your professors. Tap into the knowledge of your academic advisors, and take advantage of the resources right here on campus that are designed to help you learn at your highest capacity. I look forward to seeing you on campus and in the classroom as we get started this year. And I wish you an amazing first year here at Carnegie Mellon. Now it is my true pleasure to introduce the President of Undergraduate Student Senate, Sanjeev Naik. Sanjeev is a senior from Virginia who is majoring in civil engineering and engineering and public policy. Please join me in welcoming Sanjeev Naik.
Thank you, Provost Garrett. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Carnegie Mellon. I am speaking here today because I am the Undergraduate Student Senate President, which means that I lead the Undergraduate Senate, which represents undergraduates and advocates for your needs. I'd like to tell you something that I love about this place. I love that I can build things here. Sometimes building things is materials. So for many people here, it's our booth and buggy traditions. For other people, it means building and painting sets for performances. For me, building things began with a blackboard. Let me explain. In my freshman year, there was this blackboard that had been sitting in a Wien Hall hallway that I'd walked in for months. I asked a maintenance worker what was going to happen to it, and he said they were going to throw it out. So I asked if I could just take it. He said it would be less work for him if it simply disappeared. And so I plopped the thing onto a dolly and I dragged it from Wien through the mall and the cut over to Stever. Myself and my two closest friends went to the Morewood Makerspace. One of those two, to this day, is my roommate, Sam Curry, your HOC for Res on 5th. We built a stand with wheels for that blackboard out of 2x4s. Sam did slack a little, but there were three of us, so we made it work. We rolled it onto the common area of Stever's second floor, much to the annoyance of my RA and house fellow, and we left it sitting there. To be clear, I am not advocating for anyone to transport university property to your living spaces without permission. But what I'm also saying is that it was a magical experience. That blackboard was used every single day by the people on my floor that semester. People drew on it, we wrote messages, explained homework, made jokes. I would say they shared pieces of themselves. It changed this space, and I think it helped a community flourish. When I joined Senate, I noticed that students missed outdoor seating that had once filled campus. So my committee and I spent months advocating to bring it back. Outside today, you can see the result. Bright red picnic tables where students can gather. We built that. But building things is not just physical. Building things also means things like building routines with people. It can be choosing to get lunch with the same person on a certain day every week. It is going back to a club that you love week after week until one day you realize that the people there have become your family. It is choosing to fall in love with the people around you. What you might discover is that in the process of building things, we actually build ourselves. We become the things that we spend our time on. It does not happen all at once. Usually, it happens so slowly that we don't even notice it. A phrase from a friend enters the way you speak. A professor changes the way you look at a problem. Someone convinces you to try something new. You find yourself caring deeply about a place, a tradition, a question, or a person, almost by accident. The things that we build stay around us, and the choices we make become a part of ourselves. And so it might seem, with all of the planning that has gone into getting here, that life will be like putting together something from IKEA. I'm going to take these classes, and I'm going to take them in this order. I'm going to get this major and this additional major, this minor. I'm going to research in this field. I'm going to apply to this internship and join this club. I'll do this and that, and I will be successful. And what is appealing about the IKEA model is how easy it is to assume that there's one straight shot to perfect success. You have the pieces and you have the instructions, you have the picture on the box, so you just assemble it, right? No. What is incomplete about that model is that you're not, and you will not be, the same person who came up with this idea of that success. So I might argue that building here is less like an IKEA set and more like building with an unorganized tub of thousands of Lego pieces. What you have in front of you is a vast number of opportunities. Each one is like a different colored or shaped or sized Lego. It's a class, an organization, a project, a friendship, or a person. In choosing every one of those Lego pieces, you also choose to spend your time and attention somewhere. And sometimes a piece is chosen for you almost incidentally. You do something slowly, bit by bit, and one day you realize that it has become a part of what you are building, a part of yourself. Other times, you fight for a piece. You do your best. You reach for it again and again, and it doesn't click into place. And I have to tell you, I speak from experience. There are things that I have built incorrectly. There are Lego pieces that I fought to use to build, and then what I was building fell apart anyways. You cannot always choose perfectly, and sometimes you don't get to choose. Some of the pieces you choose here will become central to your life. Some pieces will disappear. Others will matter deeply, but only for a moment. But building should be a collaboration. The less time we give to one another, the less of ourselves there is to carry forward. The less we express our lives, the more we risk leaving here with everything except for the life we came here to live. So the question is not whether this place will shape what you build, because it will. The question is how much you are willing to bring yourself into that process. That blackboard was in our dorm for just a semester. I truly wish that each of you finds a community that has a blackboard like that one. And in fact, if you want to use that exact same one, you can, because it resides on the third floor of the Cohen University Center in the Undergraduate Student Senate-funded Tartan Collaborative Commons. Me and my friends, my Senate colleagues, and so many students, we built these spaces together. And those spaces built us. I built things, and those things built me. You have so much freedom to build in so many ways at Carnegie Mellon. Spend it building something that you love. And now I'd like to invite Sam back to the podium.
Thank you, Sanjeev and Provost Garrett. As students, we are honored to have your leadership this year. It is now my privilege to introduce our faculty speaker, Katie Breivik, as the Falco Debenatini Assistant Professor of Physics and is a member of the McWilliams Center for Cosmology and Astrophysics. She builds open source software that simulates how stars live and die and then uses those simulations to learn about neutron stars and black holes they leave behind. Please join me in welcoming Katie to the podium.
Thanks, Sam. Let's see here. I'm going to flip this over. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to Carnegie Mellon and to Pittsburgh. I feel really lucky to start this year off with the infectious enthusiasm that you've all brought to campus this week. To be honest, this is the first convocation that I myself have attended, and so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. My undergraduate experience was pretty different compared to student life here at CMU. I did my undergrad at Utah State University, which is a land-grant college that specializes in agricultural sciences and is about 10 miles south of the Utah-Idaho border, so in the middle of nowhere. If the wind blew in the right direction, you definitely knew that our school had something to do with cows. And even if it didn't blow in the right direction, you could usually still tell, because I took my physics and math classes with people wearing chaps over their jeans because they were headed out to the farms after class. I also started college with a lot less direction than I suspect many of you have right now today. I switched from mechanical engineering to physics the week before classes started, so right about now, and I did it so that I could take geology classes instead of the chemistry requirements that were required for the engineering degree. I still have never taken a chemistry class. My piece of advice, my first one, is to think at least slightly more deeply than I did about these types of decisions. Your academic advisors will thank you. And while you're at it, think about what you actually want to do rather than what you want to avoid. Proactively defining your goals, your interests, and your wants and needs is actually a radical part of the college experience, and it's going to form the basis for what you define your life to be once you graduate. As you sit in classes, think about what excites you, and then try to figure out how to do more of whatever that is. You'll always do the best work when you're excited to actually do it. I'm sure that I was tapped to speak today because the theme, a Carnegie constellation, lines up really tightly with my research, where I study, personally, how stars form and evolve. One thing I learned pretty quickly in astronomy is that most astronomers, myself included, literally never think about constellations. If you ask me what my favorite star is right now, my answer is Lady Gaga. Full stop. But really, the reason I don't think about constellations in my everyday research is that the patterns that stars make across the sky don't tell us the physics that governs our universe. Stars form together in clusters, but within a few million years, most of them will leave their birth sites and follow their own orbits across the galaxy. Because of this, a group of stars can look totally connected to one another when really they are just coincidentally sharing the same projected 2D plane that we see on the night sky. This doesn't make constellations useless, though. Their purpose was never to really provide a quantitative description of the physics of stellar evolution. If you want that, you can take my stellar evolution class every fall. It does come with a lot of prereqs, though, so fair warning. The purpose of the constellations was actually to help us find our place in the cosmos. People use them to cross the oceans, to know when to plant their food, and to find their way home in the dark. As Reverend McCurry said, different cultures looked at the same stars and drew completely different pictures, but every one of those pictures worked because the sky doesn't come with the lines already drawn on it. Somebody looked up and decided that a particular scatter of stars was a bear, and it's actually the decision that's what made it useful. Nobody will draw the lines for your time here either. The classes, the majors, the clubs, all of those are just stars that won't make a shape on their own. You'll have to decide what they mean to you and how you interact with them. During your time here, I hope you remember that nobody makes these kinds of decisions completely alone. Even the official list of constellations had to be settled by a committee in the International Astronomical Union during the 1920s. So seek out people and do that on purpose, then find other people who are totally different from the ones you've interacted with before to gain extra perspective. Find peers, because a study group will help you learn way more than any individual study session. Find the juniors and seniors who look like they have it all figured out and ask for their advice. They know which classes to take and which ones to not take, and which advisors to talk to. Plus, everybody loves giving advice, trust me. You should also talk to the faculty, even if we seem out of touch or intimidating. I know that office hours can feel like an admission of something that has gone wrong, but we genuinely just want to help you learn as much as you possibly can while you're here. That's actually part of our job, and most of us took it because we like this part just as much as our research. Lastly, use student resources like Counseling and Psychological Services, known as CAPS, the Office of Disability Resources, the CMU Food Pantry, and the Career and Professional Development Center. They exist for a reason, and nobody thinks less of you for showing up to ask for help. I have no idea what any of you will end up doing during your time here, and neither do you. And that's totally fine. You're actually here to kind of figure that out as you go. So as you draw your own constellation, I hope that you find new things to be excited about and people who will share that excitement with you. Welcome to Carnegie Mellon. I'm really glad that you're here with us, and I'm looking forward to see what y'all accomplish while you're here. Thanks. I'll welcome Sam back to the podium.
Thank you, Katie, for your advice and encouragement. Earlier, Provost Garrett mentioned that Carnegie Mellon opened its doors in 1905 with a charter class of 120 students. When that class graduated in 1908, a bronze floor tile was placed in the entryway of Baker Hall to commemorate their accomplishments. Following that tradition, a tile is added to the floor every year to honor the most recent graduating class. Each year, we award the class tile to 2 first-year students who have been exceptional participants throughout the first-year orientation program. Our first recipient is Will Erickson. Will is in the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences. He was nominated for his consistent efforts to make others feel welcome and for maintaining a relentlessly positive attitude. He moved into Mudge early in the morning and spent the entire remainder of move-in helping the O-team and moving in his peers. His willingness to step up and go above and beyond what was asked of him led his orientation counselors to commend his example. Our second recipient is Reed Thompson. Reed is in the School of Computer Science studying computational biology and is a resident of Boss House. She was nominated for seeking out and including as many other people as she can, whether it be sitting and talking with new faces at every meal or bringing snacks to share with strangers at every event. Her willingness to step outside her comfort zone in order to support others led her orientation counselors to find her example inspiring and worthy of recognition. Now, I am pleased to present the class tile to the class of 2030 plus. The tile that was just presented will be passed through each of the colleges during your time here, and it will serve as the physical embodiment of the stars you've added to our Carnegie constellation. By the time you reach commencement, this tile will carry the memories of the entire class of 2030 plus and bear witness to the impact you have made across Carnegie Mellon. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce President Farnam Jahanian, a nationally recognized computer scientist, entrepreneur, public servant, and higher education leader. Dr. Jahanian has had a huge impact here at Carnegie Mellon, especially for his passionate engagement of students and dedication to improving their experience on campus. He and his wife Tris are also proud parents of a CMU alumna. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Farnam Jahanian.
Hold on, wait a second. Where do you have to go person remind me? That's all. Therefore, thank you so much.
Good luck. Thank you.
Well, Sam, first of all, thank you so much for that introduction. Let's hear it again for Sam. Sam and his fellow head orientation counselors. I want to thank all of you for the hard work all week. Again, you've done a marvelous job. Thank you for the work that you've done. I should tell you the reason Sam is in a uniform, he's going to be joining the Air Force after he graduates from CMU. Sam. Howdy, Sam. I also want to recognize our speakers today. Our provost, Jim Garrett. Thank you, Jim, for everything that you do for our community, for our first students. Thank you, Jim. Thank you as well to Professor Katie Breivik for your inspiring words. Katie, I can't wait to see how these students are going to put your advice into action during the next 4 years. I also am grateful to Reverend McCurry for her remarks. Sanjeev, or I should say President Sanjeev, thank you for being here. Thank you for implicating your roommate Sam in moving property from one location to another. But I should tell you seriously, Sanjeev has been, of course, president of the Student Senate since this May, and he's been working with us, with Gina and I, over a number of topics. Sanjeev, thank you for your leadership. Now, good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2030. I want to ask a question. Are you still excited to be here? Oh, that was pretty good. Okay, how about, let me ask a different question. Are you glad your parents and family members have finally left town? By the way, this is being recorded and live streamed to your homes. I should know that. I am joined on stage today by members of the university leadership team, including our deans, associate deans, vice provosts, and vice presidents. But one of these leaders already knows you quite well. That is our Dean of Admission, Tani Castaneda. And Tani and her hardworking admissions team received, as Jim mentioned, more than 33,000 applications this year. In fact, this team is the reason you're here today. Would Tani and everybody else from admission that's here today, would you please stand to be recognized? Tani, stand up. Come on, come on. Stand up. All right. Another person among our deans I want to recognize before we get to the rest of the program, of course, is Keith Webster, who is Helen and Henry Posner Jr., Dean of the University Libraries. You should know that Keith and his team provide personalized resources and research support to all of you. So thank you, Keith, and our librarians. Let's hear it for them for the fantastic work that they do. And thanks, of course, to everyone who's made this week so special, this orientation week. This includes our wonderful Dean of Students, Gina Castellino, and her fabulous team. The success of Orientation Week depends on the relentless enthusiasm and dedication of so many people. And that includes, of course, Gina, Dean of Students, our events team that's been present everywhere, and of course, the colleges and academic units has been essentially supporting you the entire week. Again, let's hear it for all of them, for all the great work that they do. But this year, hundreds of students, volunteers, staff, and faculty members assisted over 200 distinct orientation events. And 167 resident assistants, community advisors, and house fellows are helping you settle into your first-year home communities. These teams have one job, and it's still underway. They are here to welcome you to CMU and help you thrive during your earliest days on campus. This crew includes 145 orientation leaders and orientation counselors who have cheered you on over the last several days, as well as 9 outstanding head orientation counselors who deserve a turn in the spotlight. I'm going to ask if in the back you can turn on the lights so we can see them, and I'm going to mention them. Counselors, when I call your name, please stand to be recognized. All right, here we go. Austin for Steverhouse. Austin. Beck Donnerhouse. Nathan, Boss McGill and Magimo. Rachel, Mudge House. Roy E. Tower. Sam, Fifth Avenue Community. Samantha, Hammerschlag House. Sarah, Morewood Gardens. And last but not least, Zoe, Welsh, Henderson, and Scoville houses. All right, agencies, can you please stand once again? Let's hear it for all of them. Sam, come on. Well done. And to all the counselors who participated and helped us today, thank you. Thank you for being here. I also like to acknowledge members of our Activity Board's Technical Committee. This team of students, led by John Subramanian, Tomas Berito Goncalves, Yang-Hee Huang, have provided technical support for all the orientation programming in the tent this week. They're all around, but most of them are way back there. Let's hear it. Thank you to this committee. They did an amazing job. Once again, please join me in acknowledging all of these organizers, leaders, and volunteers for another round of applause. Thank you very much for all that you do, folks. Over the last several days, you have already begun to absorb the CMU culture and learn the rhythm of CMU campus. And of course, when you start hearing bagpipes, that's usually a cue that something special or ceremonial is about to happen. I promise you that you're going to come to deeply love that sound, and today is no different. Today is the official start of your college experience. The next several years will undoubtedly be some of the most transformative of your lives. You will form lifelong friendships, as Sanjeev and Sam just told you, grow in countless ways, and discover passions that ignite your academic and professional careers. CMU will change you, and you will change Carnegie Mellon. As I mentioned during my welcome address on Sunday, you've arrived at Carnegie Mellon at a pivotal time. The future is constantly evolving, driven by rapid changes in AI and advanced technologies, and that's not all that's changing. As new innovations and ideas shape our culture and society, we're increasingly relying on the boldness of fields including the visual arts, music, humanities, and policy to process where we have come from and envision where we're going. It's truly amazing to think about what the future will bring. It's such an exciting time to be a student and to have the world and all of its opportunities right at your fingertips. As you begin to make your mark on our campus community, it's important to recognize the immense power and impact of your voice. Freedom of expression is foundational to our democracy and a central tenet of higher education. It's also most effective when accompanied by a desire to connect with and understand others. At CMU, our student, faculty, and staff have never shied away from exploring complex or controversial issues. We have a history of leaning into our differences and using them to drive deeper conversations. At CMU, we all bear responsibility for ensuring that our campus is welcoming and we treat each other with dignity and respect. By embracing freedom of expression and working hard to build bridges of understanding, our community can set a standard for the rest of the world to follow. Now, class of 2030, in just a few moments, I'll formally present you to our deans and officially start your CMU journey. It's a big moment. But let's take a second to appreciate where you are and the journey you are about to embark on. Look around. In fact, when you leave this tent today, look around. Savor the sights and sounds. In fact, I encourage you to do this throughout your college career. You've probably heard this by now a bunch of times, that college goes by fast. So every once in a while, stop and remind yourself that you are exactly where you want to be. This is a magical time in your life, and you have earned this rare opportunity to expand your horizons alongside some of the most gifted scholars and students on the planet. So once again, congratulations and welcome to Carnegie Mellon. I'm almost done talking, but here comes the fun part. I want to ask our incoming students to stand if you're able to when I announce your school or college, so that I may present you to our college leadership. We're going to start with our College of Engineering, so CIT students, get ready. Will the students from our College of Engineering please rise with the deans and the college leadership? Can you turn on the lights? Thank you. Dean Akinci and college leaders, I present to you our College of Engineering class of 2030. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from our fabulous College of Fine Arts please rise along with the Dean and the college leadership? Dean Poole. Thank you for encouraging them in Dean Poole. Dean Poole and college leaders, I present to you our CFA class of 2030 and 2031 for architecture. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from our Bachelor of Humanities and Arts program, Bachelor of Science and Arts program, Bachelor of Computer Science and Arts, and Bachelor of Engineering Studies and Arts please rise with their dean's college and school leadership? Dean Poole, Dean Sugimoto, Dean Marshall-Hubert, Dean Akinci, and leaders of our respective schools and colleges, I present to you our BHA, BSA, BCSA, and BESA class of 2030. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from our Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences please rise with their deans and by the way, I should say that this is Dean Sugimoto's first convocation at Carnegie Mellon. Welcome. Dean Sugimoto and college leaders, I present to you our Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences class of 2030. Congratulations, everybody. Will the students from our Information Systems program in our Dietrich and Heinz colleges please rise along with the deans and college leadership? Dean Martin, Dean Sugimoto, and college leaders, I present to you our Information Systems class of 2030. Congratulations, everybody. Please be seated. Next, I will present students from Mellon College of Science. Please rise along with the college leadership. I should tell you that Dean Sheen Cunningham has a very good reason for missing today's event. Her son is getting married. But she has asked our Senior Associate Dean Maggie Braun and other college leaders who represent her this afternoon. Mellon College of Science leaders, I present to you the MCS class of 2030. Congratulations. Will the students from our School of Computer Science please rise along with the dean and school leadership? Dean Hebert and school leaders, I present to you our SCS class of 2030. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from our Tepper School of Business please rise along with the deans and college leadership? I should add that this is Dean Alice's first convocation at Carnegie Mellon. He's been on the faculty for many years, of course. Dean Alice and school leaders, I present to you our Tepper Business Class of 2030. Congratulations. A final note, please join me in welcoming all of our new students across all of our outstanding programs. CMU students, as you can see, there are plenty of people to get to know in the coming weeks and months. And to help with this, if you run into me, Provost Garrett, your deans, college leadership, or your professors, as Katie mentioned on campus, stop and introduce yourself. We are so excited to get to know you and eager to see the mark that you will make on our campus community and on the world. So once again, on behalf of the entire Carnegie Mellon community, welcome to the class of 2030 and congratulations. And now I turn it back over to Sam to close the program.
Thank you, President Johanian. Class of 2030 plus, your skills, your drive, and your dedication led you to this university. And now that you are finally where you are meant to be, I challenge you to grow your own personal constellation while you're here. Now is the time to form the bonds that will last with you for the rest of your life, because this journey was never meant to be taken alone. You will face challenges, and you will doubt yourself, but you will be resilient, and you will keep moving forward. Through it all, you will join something bigger, a community of over 17,000 other students blazing towards the future that we will shape. I would like to extend my thanks to President Johanian, Provost Garrett, Katie Breivik, Sanjeev Nayak, Reverend McCurry, deans, faculty, staff, friends, and everyone who made this program possible. Thank you, Class of 2030 Plus, and all of our new transfer students for your participation today and throughout orientation. I look forward to experiencing these last and most exciting few days of orientation with you all, and I wish you all the best as you begin this new chapter of your lives at Carnegie Mellon University. As our program comes to an end, members of the CMU Pipes and Drums will perform recessional music. We ask that you stand if you are able and remain in place until they depart the tent. Thank you again, Class of 2030 Plus. I cannot wait to see all that you will accomplish here.